The day my sister stood on that stage in her white coat, smiling like the world had finally opened its arms to her, I felt something quietly close around my heart. It wasn't jealousy. It wasn't pride either, at least not the kind people talk about. It was a tightening, the way a room feels when the air has been sucked out without anyone noticing. I remember clapping until my palms stung, my smile fixed in place, my eyes burning from holding back tears I didn't understand yet. I remember thinking, this is it. This is the moment everything we survived finally makes sense. I was wrong. But that truth came later, much later, after court summons and cold hallways that smelled like disinfectant and old paper, after my sister stopped answering my calls, after my name became something sharp in her mouth. Back then, all I saw was my baby sister in a borrowed cap and gown, standing taller than she ever had, waving at me from across a sea of strangers. I waved back with the same hand that had signed every tuition check. Before everything fell apart, my life was small in the best possible way. I woke up early every morning, before the sun had properly decided whether it wanted to show up. The kettle whistled the same way it always had, sharp and impatient, while I packed my lunch in silence. My apartment wasn't fancy. Second-hand couch, creaky floors, a stubborn window that never quite shut, but it was clean, predictable, safe. I worked as a senior administrator at a logistics firm. Not glamorous, not awful. The kind of job where you're invisible if you do it well and very visible if you don't. I liked that. I liked knowing what was expected of me. My sister, Mara, was my opposite in every way that mattered. Where I was careful, she was bold. Where I measured, she leaped. She laughed loud, cried harder, and dreamed bigger than the room could hold. Growing up, people used to say she had fire in her. They said it like a blessing. Our parents died when I was 26 and Mara was 19, an accident that still feels unreal when I say it out loud. One phone call, one wet road, two coffins I wasn't ready to stand beside. Overnight, I became the adult in a house that smelled like grief and unfinished plans. Mara wanted to be a doctor. She said it the night after the funeral, sitting cross-legged on her bed, mascara streaked down her cheeks. I have to, she told me. I can't waste my life. I didn't argue. I just nodded and sat beside her, listening to the hum of the old ceiling fan and the way her breath hitched between sentences. We didn't have money. Our parents left us love, not savings. Scholarships covered some of it, loans covered more, but not enough. By the time Mara got into medical school, the numbers stopped adding up. I had a choice then, though it didn't feel like one. I sold the house our parents had left us. I moved into my small apartment. I picked up overtime. I stopped buying new clothes, stopped taking vacations, stopped saying yes to anything that cost more than comfort. When Mara cried and told me she couldn't accept my help, I told her the truth. This isn't charity, I said. It's family. She promised me over and over that she would pay me back. Not right away. Not while she was in school. But someday. When she was a doctor. When she had steady hands and a steady life. I told her she didn't need to promise anything. That was my first mistake. Medical school changed her, the way all-consuming things do. She learned new words, new confidence, new silences. She came home less. When she did, she talked about rotations and attendings and people whose names I couldn't pronounce. I listened. I always listened. There were moments, small ones, when I felt the distance growing. When she corrected me sharply, like I was a child. When she dismissed my worries about money with a laugh. I'll be rich one day, she said once, twirling her fork. You worry too much. But she still hugged me before she left. She still called me when she was exhausted. She still said, I couldn't do this without you. So I kept paying. I paid quietly, methodically, like it was my job to make sure the ground beneath her feet never cracked. Tuition, books, exam fees, rent when her roommate moved out without warning. I never asked for receipts. I never asked for gratitude. I told myself this was what love looked like, when it was practical. The first real crack came during her final year. I had asked her, carefully, gently, about the future. About repayment. about whether we should put something in writing, just to be clear. I remember we were sitting in a cafe that smelled like burnt espresso, the table sticky beneath my fingers. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Why are you acting like a bank?" she asked, half joking, half not. The words stung, but I laughed them off. "I just want us to be on the same page." She nodded, distracted, already looking past me. "We'll talk later," she said. We never did. Still, when graduation day came, I flew in early and sat in the front row. I clapped until my hands hurt. I cried when she hugged me, her white coat stiff and unfamiliar against my cheek. "I did it," she whispered. "We did," I almost said. But something held my tongue. That night, as I lay awake in the hotel room, listening to the distant hum of traffic, I had the strangest feeling that I was standing at the edge of something I couldn't see yet. If I had known then what was coming, if I had known how quickly gratitude could curdle into something colder, I might have held that moment tighter. I might have said more. I might have protected myself. But love has a way of convincing you that silence is safer. And sometimes, silence is exactly what costs you everything.